Hello everybody, my name is Ragnon, and this is a quick healing guide for Spires of Ascension. To go over this, I'm going to be using a key that I did, I believe this was 2 weeks ago, plus 16. So the first thing that you'll need to worry about is this first pack. Depending on how your tank is pulling it, you could be facing just this first group, or sometimes they pull all of them. It really just depends on how your tank is feeling. The things that you're going to want to watch out for are the blue debuffs. I forget the name, I'm just going to see it in a moment. But there is a blue debuff, I want to say it's Forbidden Knowledge or something knowledge. And it is the hardest Burden of Knowledge. This dot hits so stupid hard. And if you're unprepared for it, it can kill somebody very, very quickly in just a couple ticks. Depending on your group's interrupts, sometimes it can go on multiple people, and so you're going to have to pick somebody to dispel and somebody to pump heals into, or mass dispel. But depending on the affixes, you might not be able to deal with that. Other than that, it's just a bunch of chunky damage. Try not to stay too close to the group, because I believe there is some frontal AoE. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the. Sometimes I die fairly frequently on these this first pull here, and I'm not sure if it's from a frontal cleave or it's from Burden of Knowledge that I missed or something like that. Another big thing you're gonna have to watch out for: if your DPS misses a kick on Rebellious Fist from the Goliath, it's gonna do huge damage to the whole group. So just be aware that if the entire group takes a bunch of damage, it's not your fault. That was a missed kick, so that's a big priority for the DPS to be kicking. This group up here, not much to say, it's really more of the same. This flight is so long, it doesn't matter if you refresh your flash concentration right before you go, you're going to lose it anyways. Even with the recent buff to make it last 20 seconds, it's still too long, so don't even try. You want, these fights are so long, it's not like Theater of Pain, where when you take the portals in that underground room, it heals people to full. These don't, and so it's kind of difficult, especially on like a Grievous week or something like that. If somebody gets on the flight path with a stack of Grievous, it's just going to keep ticking and keep stacking up. So it's a really good opportunity for you to use something like Renew, combined with a Power Word Shield or something like that. You just want to make sure that you try to get people topped up as much as you can before you're going. If it's not Grievous, you can just kind of lazily do it with some Renews or something. But if it is Grievous, you're going to have to put some extra effort into topping people before you take the flight path. Otherwise, you're going to land and you're going to be behind the ball, and the tank's going to be thirstily pulling into the next group, and it can get out of control pretty quickly just because of the flight time. This group, typically, I see groups CC the Mender here, just because he puts out a big heal. Really, it's just the same as the first pack. Yeah, Sweeping Blow, I think that's the frontal AoE that I was talking about. So don't stand too close to the group. You need to watch out for the frontal. If you are going to be in there, you need to be behind them. And then just watch the Rebellious Fists. Dispel the blue debuffs, the magic buffs from Burden Knowledge as quickly as you can, because again, that hits so hard. A lot of times, this is where you get your first Prideful. Again, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Pridefuls because I want to have this be something that's going to carry over into future tiers. So, not focusing too much on Prideful. On this boss, it's all about positioning, really. You need to be careful about where you're standing. The two biggest things you need to watch out for, the absolute biggest thing is the black balls from the pet. It shoots them in kind of like a rotating group of three. It rotates as it shoots them. So it doesn't take much movement. You just have to be aware and make sure that you don't get hit by it, because it will nearly or will one-shot you on higher keys, and especially on Tyrannical. The other thing you have to watch out for is there's a beam between the pet and the boss. Don't get hit by that. So you need to watch your positioning. Don't be standing in between the boss and the pet, because that will deal a bunch of damage. Something else to watch, when you get targeted, when Kintara flies up in the air, she'll throw down some charged spears on players. When that happens, hopefully this happens to me soon. She's casting charged spear. No, but you can see what the rogue did. He ran over to the wall and dropped it out of the way against the wall. That's a great thing to do. So if you get targeted by charged spear, move back, move away, and drop it against the wall. He didn't quite make it there, but you see the point. Other than that, this is really honestly a pretty easy boss. Just try to focus getting as much damage in as you can to help push it as quickly as possible. Because as long as people aren't getting hit by the balls, as long as they're moving quickly out of the charged spears, you can be dispelling these magic debuffs. It's a pretty easy healing fight, which is made up for later with Vintoniax. So let's keep moving. A lot of times groups pull part of one of these sides and then they go the other way. These skirmishers you really have to watch out for. Most tanks I see line of sight pull them now because they target random players and they also jump away and kind of kite away. So it's really annoying. This is big group damage. It's kind of like the Arbalists in Theater of Pain. You've got to watch the damage and just using your strong heals with your flash concentration style to top people off. So just realize the group is going to be taking heavy damage there. And if the tank didn't line of sight pull, then it can get really messy because it'll take a while to get them down. Here, anytime any pull with Ether Divers, you need to watch the stacks that go on the tank or any other player. I feel like 4 is the sweet spot, is where it starts getting really crazy. So once it starts getting to 4 on a target, usually the tank, you definitely want to dispel, because it hurts really bad. So just watch that. The Ether Divers can really chunk the tank quickly if you're not paying attention. So here we go back to the other side. It's pretty common. These stealth packs, these stealth claws, you'll see your tank will be kiting a lot. I believe they put this bleed, similar to the bears, the Gargons in Halls of Atonement. They put a pretty nasty bleed, so you can see our tank is just going to be kiting like crazy in this pug. So just watch out for that. It's a good opportunity if you have like a bear or something like that to use a life grip, move away from him and pull him away. The Dark Praetor is teleports behind the group and usually dies last because DPS missed them. So just be aware that's going to take a little bit longer. There's nothing really notable that I can think of with the Dark Praetor, so forgive me if I'm missing something. So usually pull all these different stealth packs. Prideful. This flight is short enough to keep your flash concentration. This one's very small. The only ones where you lose your flash concentration, I believe, is the very first flight. I think the one after Vintoniax is also just a little bit too long. I don't remember off the top of my head. And then the one going up to the last boss is definitely too long. You lose your flash concentration stacks there, so you're going to have to build them up before those 3 really difficult adds, unfortunately. For this pack, again, watch for Ether Diver stacks, especially if he pulls them all together. If it's just a group like this, then really you just need to watch for group damage that is from Mist Rebellious Fists. I don't believe this group has... No, this group doesn't have any debuffs that you need to dispel, so it's not too bad. Just watch the bleeds on the tank. He's probably going to be kiting quite a bit. Yeah, this Praetor does target random people, so if you see people spiking down, you can see the elitism helper. Watch for his charges on any of the Dark Praetors. You can avoid that because it does do a large chunk of damage. Okay, moving on. These are the Ether Divers I was talking about. You need to watch the stacks, make sure that they don't get too high. You can see how quickly our tank is dipping there, so I was popping Guardian Spirit on him. Alright, this pack is fairly difficult. Sorry, not this pack. After this pack, a lot of times I see groups prideful and then they pull the next 2 together and do a huge pull. So just be aware that if you pop all your cooldowns on this and then the prideful, you're going to possibly be out of luck for the next big pull. It just depends on what your group is doing. Just realize that that's a potential pull route. Okay, so this next pull, yeah. This next pull, we didn't pull everything. The Ether Divers can just, a lot of times, with the burden knowledge, it just chunks the tank. There's too much spread damage going out, so unless you're popping, yeah, you can see how quickly he's getting nuked. You have to be very careful on this pull. There's a lot of heavy damage that comes out from the Ether Divers and burden knowledge if you miss the Dispel. And on top of that, if the group misses a kick on the Rebellious Fist, that's really a group wiper. So if you know that your group's going to have trouble with that, set up a kick rotation beforehand. It doesn't need to be a fancy one, just figure out who's going first. These squad leaders are extremely painful, and so they're usually focused down first. This one's not too bad because it's just him and a Dark Praetor, but this next pack is... sometimes I see groups lust here for if it's a fortified week. So something that you can do is you can CC one of the mobs, either I believe the champion or the inquisitor can either be CC'd to make it a little bit easier. The target priority is the squad leader, so just watch for big group damage. Dodge the swirlies, the black swirlies. Dispel the Ether Divers dot as you can. You can see we popped a spear there. That's a really good moment for a spear. So this pull right before Vintoniax, and then another good pull to spear is the third ad before the last boss. That's usually where I see two really good spear moments. You can see here we missed one of the kicks on the burden knowledge, so both went out, and you can see how quickly they both dropped. So I prioritized dispelling the DPS because I know I was already going to be focusing on healing the tank and have stuff rolling on him. So that's typically my priority, is I already know I'm going to be needing to pump big heals into the tank, so unless they're in mortal danger immediately, I pick a DPS usually to do the dispel. Alright, so Vintoniax, best boss in the game. This, I mean, it has gotten a lot better since the nerf, but man, this dot still hits super hard. So typically the tanks are going to tank her in a circle. I believe counterclockwise is the best way to go. I don't remember. One of the ways makes it so that you you don't have to deal with the orbs for a long time. Maybe it is clockwise. I don't remember. But anyways, the tank is going to be tanking her and around in a circle because every time she casts, I believe it's called Dark Stride, it's where she teleports to a player. She'll drop that puddle there that's going to be shooting out orbs in a circle, and she'll also put a really, really nasty debuff. You need to have this person as your priority. Whoever got hit by Dark Stride is going to be taking a large amount of damage, and you can't just passively heal it up. You need to make sure that you're pumping heals in. It's a very, very painful debuff. Don't tunnel on their health bar though, because if you get hit by a black orb on hierarchies on Tyrannical, you're just dead. You can't get hit by one. So priority number 1 is never get hit by black orbs. Priority number 2 is really watch whoever's getting hit by Dark Stride to heal that debuff up. It's not too bad until so here I get hit with Dark Stride. You can see how quickly it chunked me. I think he got hit by a black ball there, but look how quickly my health is just spiking. So you really have to focus on the person with that. Oh, and there I die. Nice. So anyways, recharge. This is the big moment where it's really dangerous. Recharge makes all existing black puddles, instead of shooting one at a time and rotating around, it just starbursts out a lot of stacks. And they just recently did a patch. I hope they revert it. They made it really hard to see. It's like it's solid black in the middle, so you can't even see which direction they're being cast. It's a really dumb change. It was already a hard enough boss. So your key as a ranged healer is you need to be far back so that you have time while you're focusing on the health bars and stuff. You have time to see where the orbs are coming from, and you just dodge. It's a bullet hell. It's kind of similar to like Shriekwing, dodging the discs and stuff like that. It's something that takes practice, and just dodge the balls. So here we do get it down. It's nice to have Guardian Spirit and a Battle Res. So anyways, we'll go ahead and skip ahead real quick. There we go. This is the flight that is definitely too long, and you're going to lose your flash concentration stacks. I mean, look how long this takes. A lot of groups, it's 50-50. Sometimes groups kill this Hellion up here. Sometimes they skip it. Hellions are very difficult mobs. So if you're skipping it, you can use Mind Soothe. You can see I soothe him, but then the tank pulls it anyways. I haven't fought this pack right here, the next pack in front of the stairs, since launch. Like, we always skip that by using the side route. So after this Hellion, the big thing that really hurts, I believe, is... I don't want to say the name of the skill because I'll be wrong. But anyways, it's a lot of healing that comes out, so you'll just need to be wary. It's not so bad when it's just that mob, but the other packs upstairs with the other Hellions, that's why those are rarely killed, is because the Hellions are so difficult. So we skip this way. Almost always I've skipped this top pack. You just soothe it and you can walk around this corner here. And then everybody mounts up, and I've seen two styles here. Sometimes we shroud past and we get to the pillar and then the tank pulls. I really like that. If you have a rogue, I would highly recommend doing that, because you don't have to blow it on the pack upstairs because you've got soothe. The other way is a little bit risky, especially on fortified. Everybody just runs and you hide behind the pillar there, and a lot of times somebody dies and you just struggle your way through. So I definitely prefer the shrouding route. This is much better. So you just go back here, line of sight, and then you pull all these usurpers, and these function like the skirmishes. I believe they target random players. It's just a lot of damage, or maybe it's just that they target random players while we're running. I don't know. They usually melt instantly once we get around this corner, so I honestly don't remember off the top of my head. Sorry. And there's yeah, I've seen both ways. I don't know if I really like this. Sometimes we pull this group before the boss, sometimes we pull it after, but regardless, I believe you need 87%, don't quote me on that, before you go up in order to be good on percent. Alright, same deal as the other side. Maybe it's 88, it's around there. I'm not a tank, so I should know percentages, but I don't. I know it's around 87 to 88 though. Alright, or I don't even know this guy's name, I just call him Robot. Orpheon. There's a couple things you need to watch out for. This Purifying Blast that he casts, that's not the one that drops the blue puddles. That's the one that it does a bunch of damage, and anybody that gets hit with it gets hit with a pretty nasty dot, and you're going to need to heal that target up. If multiple people get hit with that, it can be very difficult, if not impossible, to keep up with, depending on how many people got hit. It's definitely not mana efficient, so the person who's targeted with Purifying Blast needs to be by themselves and be the only one who gets hit with it, otherwise it's going to get really rough really quick. Imperial Ordnance, the best strat that I've seen is everybody runs in and stacks on the tank, and then they move out. So that one was a little sloppy, but if you do it right, you can have a nice little tight puddle. And then really that's about it for the first part of this fight. The Purifying Blast, you just heal those up, run in and drop everything on the tank. When you get targeted with the blue arrow, Imperial Ordnance. The next phase of the fight is where he will, just watch this, it's easy to watch where the group is running, so this is really easy to get separated. So there I ran the, ooh, yikes, I was too low. It's easy to get separated if you run the wrong way after the Imperial Ordnance. So just be wary there, that you don't get cut off like that, because I got really messy. Alright, next is this Intermission. Ideally, you want somebody with an immunity that is mobile, like rogues can Cloak of Shadows it, hunters can turtle shell it, paladins can bubble it, Mages aren't reliable because they can't move, but you get somebody with an immunity to go around and pop all the orbs before they reach the boss. If you don't have an immunity, I don't know. I guess you have everybody get hit by maybe like 1 or 2. I don't know. Maybe you have the tank get most of them, and then you just pop big cooldowns into them. I honestly have almost always had at least somebody with an immunity, and when we don't, it's really rough. So really, you do need an immunity there. That needs to be something that is a priority when you're getting the group comp, and you need that person to realize that they are being counted on to soak those orbs. So maybe confirm that before you start running past those usurpers, because sometimes I see hunters popping turtle and stuff just to try to run past them to not die as we're trying to line of sight getting into this fight. Something to be aware of. Same deal, you just keep dropping the orbs. A lot of times he'll be dead before the second intermission, but if he's not, you just rinse and repeat. And so that is this fight. Just heal up the dots. From Purifying Blast, make sure they're topped off, because that is about 50% of their health-ish, maybe 40% that they take from the initial damage, and then there's a big dot afterwards. Okay, on to the best trash pull set in the game. These ads really hurt. The first 2 aren't too bad. The last one gets the effects of both of the previous ones, and it really hurts on sometimes even on tyrannical weeks. I see groups lusting the last ad, but definitely on fortified I see lust on the last ad, just because you got to get it down. Also, it's a good target for spear, so you can decide how you wanna space those out, but using a spear is a really good idea. So depending on what goes out, what the pull order is. If you pull this middle one first, he just shoots out random damage at targets, and you just need to be aware. It's not anything too scary. This one on the left drops the charged spears, and the charged spears shoot out black lines in an X. A trick that I've found, I'll see if I can show you on this next one. A trick that I've found is once you see where the spear lands and where it shoots out from, so you need to see where the first shot comes from. So here's a spear, right? So we'll watch for it real quick. So you can see this ad now is doing both effects. He's shooting out random damage at people. I forget exactly what this debuff does. I'm assuming it means we take more damage. So you can see right here, it's this spear in this case is moving in just kind of a straight X. So I know if I stand right here until there's a second spear down and I need to pay attention to where those projectiles are coming from, it's always going to cast from the same direction. So I can stand right here and be totally safe. I don't know if I take advantage of that. Oh, look at me. So I know I'm safe here until I see where this spear's directions are go. So right here I'm healing and I'm watching, and so you can see I'm still safe here. I'm good. So this one's going straight up and down. This one's going at an X. So I'm safe here until the next spear goes down. And there's a spear back here. I don't think I'm in range of that one, but you can see I angle my camera to see where that's coming from. And I'm okay. I'm also safe here. I just need to pay attention when I'm running. All right, and the last one, it's just everything happens at the same time, and it's just a ton of damage. So it's a good time. You can see we spear and stun it. I don't remember if we lust this or not. It's tyrannical. I think we just planned to use the spear. This again was a couple weeks ago, so I honestly don't remember off the top of my head. So that's a really good target to use spear on. I mean, and this isn't even fortified. This is on tyrannical, and we're using the spear there. So, all right, moving on. Get the prideful down. I guess that was kind of a messy prideful. I don't remember what happened there. All right, Devos. A couple things to watch out for. Run through. Do not get hit by that. It will one-shot you on tyrannical, and it always does a lot of damage. So any key. So just make sure that you watch the run through. It's a static location. Once she casts it, she's going to charge that direction. Abyssal Detonation, you have to be inside of the circle. This debuff right here, Lost Confidence, I usually look for somebody who's not near the tank. If it's on the tank, I'm just going to leave it. If it's a DPS and it's range, I'm going to try to pop it early so that they have a chance to move. If it's on me, I like to do a little trick where I run over to the side somewhere and I dispel it away from the group. In any case, they're going to get the circles are going to get blown off when you enter the animal collection phase. That's really it. Just dispel wisely. So you can see here I run it over to the side and drop it off to the side. This is a nice moment for a grip. So I usually stand here and I kind of dance in the middle by the spear, and I renew blanket. Even if I'm not running renewed faith or anything like that. I'm just running the flash concentration build, but I still renew blanket. Just because it's something that's nice to deal with the constant ticking damage. Everybody's going to be taking constant damage in here, so you know you're going to get full value out of all the renews. I try to cast my Dispel on cooldown. Sometimes I get caught up on healing. Actually, you know what? That's idealistic. I'll be honest. I only cast Dispel if they're looking really high. Like, I'd probably Dispel this 5. Yeah, so I do. I honestly don't prioritize dispelling. I prioritize health, because I cast right as soon as we're ending and the group is stacking. I cast a mass dispel, so I rely really heavily on mass dispel, and I just heal through the damage otherwise. What I was going to say is it's also a good opportunity for a grip. If you see somebody who's slower and they have an animal orb, you can just pull them, so that can be kind of nice. I was wrong on Lust. I like this much better, especially on Tyrannical, using it in the second phase, because you have Prideful for the first half, and then Lust for the second. So that was my bad. I'm sorry I didn't say that correctly the first time. That's really the fight, though. Just make sure that you don't get hit by the run-throughs. Make sure that you dispel the Lost Confidence at ideal times. And there, I got hit by the... So that didn't kill me. This is on a 16, and I'm a holy priest, not the most defensive of characters, on a Tyrannical, and that run-through didn't kill me, but it's definitely not ideal. The intermission is also a good moment to do something like Divine Hymn. Divine Hymn can be a nice cooldown, because everybody's going to be taking increased healing and from all of your other stuff. And that's really it. So I'm sure there's something I missed. I apologize. I was kind of incohesive. I'm a little tired, but hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions for me, please let me know in the comments. Also, please feel free to share anything that you think I might have missed that could benefit the group. Let's make this video a resource that we can all learn and grow from. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.